This is Dirshu Mishnah Brura as we're going to Mirza Hashem wrap up Sif Aleph. So before we see the Dirshus over here, we have a few more short Mishnah Bruras. The Ramah came along and the Ramah taught us that even if the Eino Yehudi is only taking a shlish or a raviyah, he's only taking a third of the profits or a quarter of the profits, that is enough. Why is that enough? The reason being because then it's considered that the guy is working for himself. He's working for his own benefit. So comes along the Mishnah Brura Sivkot and Tess and teaches the Mishnah Brura. V'afal pi says Mishnah Brura Sadavar Rechayim Koi. This is going on. Sada and Rechayim says the Mishnah Brura Damachaber Mayri Beschirus V'moisif Davar Risus Mutter. He's adding on even our Risus is going to be Mutter. The Mechaber agrees. The meantime they hit her b'schirus canal ashu be'er behedi. The Ramah is just explaining, and the Mishnah over here is just reminding us of a very simple detail when it comes to learning Shulchan Aruch Ramah. We have to be aware that not always is the Ramah arguing. Sometimes he's explaining, and sometimes it could be something that the Mechaber agrees to, but the Ramah is coming on and explaining it to us. Rak Shlishler Aviyah Sivkat Yod says the Mishnah Brura. V'davko bazeh shenoisei leidudi chelek b'tfuah. Says Mishnah Brura, it has to be this case that the guy is getting a part of the crop. If you hire a guy to work for you, let's say the Yid takes everything. After Medina bazeh gamkein shari, says the Mishnah Brura, Medina, this is mutter. Then Yudi adai didn't have sheyavid. Why is it Medina mutter? Because Ein Yehudi is working for himself. Because even if you don't fertilize, plow, reap the field on Shabbos, can be done during the weekday. And why is the guy doing it? The guy is doing it for himself. So he doesn't have to work during the week. Mikal Makayim says Mishnah Brura Aser. We have the Marasai, and the people are going to think you hired him. Layila barisus, they're not going to be toilet. That it's indeed arisus. Says the Mishnah Brura, and when you see at the end, when people see that the guy is not taking an actual portion in the land, that's when they're going to think that he was hired as a day worker. Vidah says the Mishnah Brura. To a merchatz kaigavna, in the case of a merchatz, and we know what does merchatz mean? Merchatz means it's typically a resource. Merchatz means that the guy gets a percentage. And this, of course, is the basics of a lot of the contractual arrangements that are made for businesses, that the guy gets the profit of all the Shabbos. Says the Mishnah Brura, Midina Aser. For it didn't berachayim by Vizeh. When it's a set amount, then you can play it up at any moment. Therefore, there's no benefit for that which the guy does on Shabbos. Why? You can just do it the next day. Then the guy is doing it for himself, because why is he working on his so-called Saturday? Because he doesn't want to work on Sunday, but I, the Yid, am not gaining. Says Mishnah Brura, there's no set amount. Every day is more profit. The Jew loses if you don't work today. And let's realize what he's saying. It's usher because there's an unlimited amount. Of course, this is where the intricacies of the appropriate documentation for a business would have to be. If the mitzias is that it's unlimited, as much as he works, he's going to benefit. Then if the guy is only getting for Shabbos, then it's going to be usher. It's going to be usher because the Yid is gaining from work on Shabbos. Even though he's getting paid, we don't say he's working for himself. Because the Yid benefits. Parenthetically, says the Mishnah Brura, but over here he's going to be machmer. Why? Because you're ruggle, you're accustomed to be particular. If the guy doesn't work one day, Kima de Medina Aser, since it's Aser Medina, feeling Isparsim Sheschar Lashana. Even if everyone knows that it's for a year. Gamu Chutz L'Tchom, Tein Mum Shem Marasayin, and Chutz L'Tchom says no Marasayin, Gam Kain Aser. Why? The only heter is going to be that the guy gets some of the benefit. Does that mean that didn't have shay of it? If you sell the whole business, then it would be mutter. And we're seeing that there's a very fine line between that which is allowed and that which is going to be a very serious problem. So let's go back and let's see some of the dirshus over here. Says the dirshu going back in Sifkat and Aleph, no number 5. Or if you look kind of Yashaba Nikr Shmei Alav, that if the Yid buys it, it's considered his item. If you Yashaba Mat, even once he's there a little bit, it's Masha later on, it's considered his, and you're not allowed to rent it out because of the Marasayin. Now the Mishabur and Sifkat the Bey said, certainly if it's a Yisrael Mummer, why? Because you have a problem of Leisitain. Says the Dirshu no number 6 to give Kli Malach Yisrael that's chashud that he might work with it on Shabbos. You're going to see in Shinmem Zayin Shem Afshel Lidloi She'asabay Malacha Heter B'Shabbos. If it could be that he's going to use it for permissible usages, it's a mutter. V'Haisev, and we're going to add on that you should not do this only if it's possible. Malachas Heter, it's normal to use this item. But if the general usage of such an item is not B'Ifen Heter, then that's not the way you should assume. You give a guy a computer, you could use the computer as a placement. That's not so normal. He's going to use it as a computer. Therefore, unless it's Darkei Shalim, which will be a unique heter that we'll have to get to. Now, let's say you have a Yisrael mummer, a Friday Yid, a non-Frum Jew, and he wants to rent a certain item from you. And we just said you can't do it. Why? If he's going to use it on Shabbos. But comments to Mishabura's note number 7, what if he could just go and rent it from someone else? He's going to go to a guy. So we're going to see in Shin Mem Zayin, with regard to if lift neiver, very important klalim, that if there's such a scenario, if he could, with the same level of ease, rent it from me or rent it from someone else, is no lift neiver. Why? Because he can get it either way. Lift neiver means you're putting a stumbling block. If anyways he's going to get it, I didn't do anything. But if he's not able to rent it from someone else, then Zakta Chavetz Chaim, there's a problem of lift neiver. Etc. Says the Dirshu further, what about if there's any reason? Let's say he doesn't end up. You rent him, he doesn't end up doing any Yisurim. Says the Yan Malachi, very interesting. You're still over on Lifnei Iver, a fascinating entity. Lifnei Iver was placing the stumbling block. You didn't end up doing something wrong, but you placed the stumbling block. So you were over by renting to him, because when you rented it to him, it was in order to use it, and therefore it will be aser. However, the Chazon Ish comes along and he says, no, it's only going to be if there's actually a michshol, and if not, it will not be an iser. Now let's say the Jew tells the Friar Yid, don't be Machal Shabbos. Says the Shevet HaLevi, with regard to sending a Hazmanah L'Simcha, someone who's not a Frum Yid, and now you know he's going to drive. Famous Shaila, what do you do for Kiruv, etc.? Karavadai, that he's going to come on Shabbos via Chil Shabbos means, therefore, or it's other less Rachel Shabbos, Mesela de Aveira, says the Shevet HaLevi, if you write, do not be Machal Shabbos, please don't drive on Shabbos. So that, and similarly says Ramesha Feinstein, that would be okay. And we turn over to the Miluim over here, that if someone, okay, and that's really the end of Sif Aleph. Over here he comments on the Bir Halachas, which we don't really learn. It's all about paying workers on time, which suffice to say that it's very important to pay workers on time. Interesting note over here, they quote at the end of note number 15 from Chaim Kanievsky, what if one is Mekabel Shabbos early? Says Rav Chaim, you could be makna the money to a worker mibayt yohim, kinechatzer agav, or another type of kinyan, that you tell in front of two people that it's going to be his, and then you'll be makayim yomei titein scharai, because you want to pay him at the end of the day, but at the end of the day is going to be Shabbos for you. Very interesting. Says Rav Chaim, you could be makna to him early, and thereby be makuyam, this din daraisa, paying workers on time. And finally, note number 16, Okay, loisa say it is asay of Einik Shabbos, etc. We'll pick it up from Sif Beis, V'siyata Dishmaya.